Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and welcome to day 15 of our 100-day countdown, the best version of ourselves in the new year. That's 85 days, my friends. Wow. Congratulations to people who have been here for 85 days. You know, I haven't done it perfectly, but one thing I've perfectly done is shown up every single day, and I'm stoked about that. And for those of you who are just joining us, you are right on time. I always tell people the teacher appears when the student is ready. And though I really am a teacher, may I be one of your teachers of life. And here I am for you. So we're stoked that you showed up. Okay, so as always, I have a little bit of something I want to share. And what it is my gratefulness for my body. And I know that's kind of funny, but honestly, I grew up very shame-based regarding my body. And I'm never grateful for it and super abusive of it. I participate in life, so I've been injured a gazillion times, and that's a story for another day. But I definitely have abused my body with food in the sense that at times I was nearly anorexic with an apple a day. Then I was bulimic for 1 minute, which I couldn't stand. And finally, I surrendered to just plain old compulsive overeating and obesity. And I've gained 100 pounds at least 5 times in my adult life. And so I'm very blessed that my body once again and finally on the right track with a plant-based diet is forgiving me. And, you know, like my double chin is going away and my skin is becoming taut, yay. And I had like a turkey gobble, which is sort of going away. And so once again, my body's going, you know what, Juliana, we'll give you one more chance, okay? Your skin's going to repair. You're going to be okay. But don't pull it again. Like, I don't know when I'm going to run out of chances, right? I mean, a cat has 9 lives, but does my skin? I don't want to chance it. Anyway, so I just wanted to share this story. In doing these videos, you know, I've been noticing that this eye kind of droops a little and the mouth is even a little crooked, and that's okay. And I was trying to figure that out. I've been injured so many times. It's insane. But this story is even more interesting than that. And I think I alluded to it in another video, but I'm going to share anyway. So when I was 17 years old, I had melanoma cancer. And I'm going to just show you a second. This lovely scar right here where they just literally, can you see, chopped it out of my arm right there. And I've since, you know, been checked every 6 months ever since, and various things have been cut out or whatever, but that was like the main one. So when I was 17, they told me that I could not donate blood because I had cancer, right? So, okay. So when they were doing all those things in high school and people were donating blood, and even when one of my precious friends ended up getting pregnancy-related leukemia and needed people to donate blood, I was like, I'm so sorry, you know, I'm going to pray for you, but I can't donate blood. So when I was 42 years old, the phone rang, and it was the Cancer Society or something, you know, and they were thanking me for my blood donation and telling me that I was a match for a person for donating bone marrow. And I was like, that's a neat trick. I've never donated blood before. You have the wrong girl, but, you know, peace be with you. And they were like, no, aren't you Juliana? La, la, la. Yes, I am. Blah, blah, blah. But I've never donated because I had melanoma. Blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, well, you know what? You can donate even if you have melanoma because it's since been determined that, you know, that's limited to just the skin. It's not in the blood, you know, whatever. So I thought, you know what? Maybe it's God calling. I don't know. I'll humor them and say, okay. So all of a sudden for the next 6 months, I was redonating blood. They were checking my swatches and all this stuff. And finally, it was 5 out of 6 swatches. Now that I'm processing this, I'm kind of wondering if it was a cold call. And if they were tricking me into donating, I don't know. But whatever the case was, so after about 6 months, I was a 5 out of 6 swatch match for this 42-year-old man who had 2 children and a wife and had leukemia. And so they arranged for me to donate my bone marrow. And I blindly said yes. And so I went to Chalk Hospital, Children's Hospital, Orange County. And it was just a 1-day procedure, or so they thought. So I was a heavyweight champ at the time. And so I think what it is they put these 2 straws or bars into your hip bones in the back. And they just literally go, and they suck out your bone marrow while you're asleep, of course. But for me, I think because I was heavier, they really went for broke. And they ended up sucking out like 6 cups of bone marrow. And your body rebuilds it back, of course. So I didn't come out of anesthesia very well. And they had to keep reminding me to breathe and all this stuff. And instead of being a one-day procedure, I ended up having to stay the night. I stayed the night, and they finally, pulled it together, and they were able to release me. But I was asking my husband how it went. And I was literally saying, honey, how'd the procedure go? My mouth had fallen, and my arm was numb. And I was saying, did it go okay? And he was like, oh my Lord. Praise God, it was summer, because my smile really matters. And when you work with children, they're not very forgiving of stuff like that. And so he was like, yeah, it went fine, hon. By the way, right? So anyway, I went home and realized my mouth had fallen and that my arm was numb, and it was concerning for sure. And so I went back. Well, I was bruised down my legs. And this is not to discourage someone from giving bone marrow. Please do. But like I said, because I was so heavy, I think they went for broke. The amount of bruising was from my hips down to my knees. I mean, it was insane. And then, of course, my mouth had fallen and my arm was numb. So they weren't sure what had caused it, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, after 3.5 weeks of looking at myself in the mirror, I finally had to surrender and just tell the Lord, I was blessed to save a life. Thank you for calling me seemingly out of nowhere. I mean, it really seems like God did that work. And I'll accept this as a consequence for saving someone's life. Praise God. And I'm not kidding you. Like the next morning, I woke up and my mouth was restored, except for what you're seeing, apparently this little tiny bit, and this eye, which is drooping a little. My mouth was restored, and my arm shortly after. And basically, it was determined that as the swelling went down in my back, which was pressing on my spinal cord, these other things straightened out a little bit. I never met the person. It was anonymous. A year after, I was able to send him a note, which I don't know if he ever got. And I was joking that if he finds himself saying things like, oh my gosh, and totally, and like, let's go to the Galleria, because I'm always accused, I'm a beach girl, but I'm always accused of being from the valley, that maybe it was my blood, my bone marrow. Anyway, God bless him. But you know what? I'm grateful for that too. I'm grateful for that too. I've been trampled by my horse. I had to have back surgery from car accidents. I was burned in an accident in college when I took someone's peaches shift, which is like another story. But all of those things, I'm still so grateful. I mean, not only am I here, but I'm highly functioning. And all of those are stories, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share that. I'm trying to be grateful today to my body, to its ability to recover, and just being able to serve. I mean, definitely giving that bone marrow was service. It was a risk, but it worked out. So say yes to life. Say yes to taking risks when it's a life-giving measure like that. And keep coming back, my friends. We still have 15 fantastic days, 14 and a half, right? And then a lifetime of wellness. So until we talk again, as always, like if you like, join if you haven't, and know that I'll be back on day 14. And best of all, my friends, be blessed.